Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T. from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Well, it's good to be back with you. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. It's time for the Jesse T Show. That's right. You know what that means. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Yeah, we have got a great guest coming in here, and I promised to mess his name up 47 times, and he's going to smack me Monty Python style 47 times. And for those of you who don't know who Monty Python is, he's going to do WWE on me, man, brother. That's what he's going to. Or Rowdy Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
One or the other. So now we're up to date. I'm going to walk out of here kind of cuckoo, right? Yeah. Okay. Good to have you along with me. Hey, it's good to be back in the studio. We've been out and about and remote-wise here for the last couple of days, and we've got a lot of things coming up here. I'll let you know a little bit about that later on as I got a little preoccupied eating some watermelon this afternoon. Boy, that watermelon was good. So I'm just going to bring my friend on right here, and we're going to do all the introductions here in just a second. But I'm so happy. You know, every now and then, I get an opportunity to really interview some terrific people, celebrities, VIPs, politicians, icons, and I get a chance to interview lots of people from all kinds of walks of life, and from film, TV, theater, everything. I'm just very blessed in that arena, and there's some very talented people in this world that do a lot of things. But every now and then, and once in a while, I am very fortunate to be hanging out with somebody and spending some time with somebody who has, when you meet him in person, you know this guy is going to be a superstar. Right you are. Nothing, the Star is Born has nothing on this guy. I'm talking about GINO MENTESINOS. Did I get it right?
All right, first smack. Boom!
Boom! I knew it. You know,
GINO MENTESINOS.
Okay.
4 syllables.
Okay, I told you, man. I'm going to walk out of here with a bloody nose and a black eye. That's for sure. Yes, I always said my eyes are brown because you know what's coming out of the top of my head most of the time.
Right? No worries. It's all good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm going to get this right, though, and you're going to help me, okay? Because this is a long name, and it's a beautiful name. It really is. And I wonder if there's some meaning to it, which we'll allude to in a second. But GINO MENTESINOS.
MENTESINOS.
MENTESINOS. Like
That's
C
it. Perfect.
nose. C nose.
Good.
C
Yeah,
nose.
yeah.
Like C spot run.
That's right.
C nose. I got it. I'll never blow it again. I promise to you. Lee, do you think I'll blow it again? What are the odds on this? 100%. I'm going to try it right now to see if I blow it. MENTESINOS.
No.
The best way to introduce somebody is totally blow their name because you just pound it into the audience, man.
Yeah, MENTESINOS.
MENTESINOS. Okay.
It's very simple. 4 syllables. MENTESINOS.
Okay, I'm going to get this right. If this is the whole show today, that's what it is. Jesse Torrero trying to get MENTESINOS correct.
Perfect!
Hey,
Touchdown! Touchdown!
You know why? Because I wasn't trying, and that's what she said last night. You're not trying, honey. It's working. That's right. Excuse me. Is that a cucumber in your pants, or is it a pencil? I don't know. I haven't seen it in 7 years. Sorry. Lord help us. You see, but seriously, every now and then I get an opportunity to meet a guy who's really, you got it going on, man. You've got just a captivating personality, and you have a wonderful smile and a vibrance to your face, and your energy is just terrific. And I'm really fortunate to spend a few moments and learn all about you and all the great things you're doing. I'll tell you, your PR guys, they're working overtime for you. They love you. They love you. They love you, man. Camille can't stop talking about you.
Thank you.
Right? I gave her $25 to shut up. You know? Shut up, Camille. All right. Quit calling me at 3 o'clock in the morning and tell me about GINO. Don't do it to me. GINO MENTESINOS.
MENTESINOS.
I got the back portion right. I'm just teasing.
We're going to revive vaudeville.
Yes. That's right. Man.
Abbott and Costello.
Yeah, you knew you were on the way out when you followed the Animal Act in vaudeville. Because that was the end of the show. Or you never wanted to follow the little babies. The little kid shows in vaudeville, you never wanted to follow them because how can you top little kids in an Animal Act?
Right.
Can't do it, man.
I wonder if that's where the Little Rascals began, huh?
Well, they probably did because back in that day, vaudeville was still kind of at its waning days because of film and it was coming in. But there were some great vaudevillian theaters here in Los Angeles. Wow. In fact, there was one in the San Fernando Valley, it's the El Portel. That was originally a vaudeville theater in Los Angeles, as many others were.
Is that the one in North Hollywood?
Yeah, right on Lankershim Boulevard.
Cool.
That was originally a vaudeville theater, and they had, I don't know if they still have it, but they used to have a full basement down underneath the theater because it was about a 1,500 seater.
Wow!
At one time. Now it's of course it's all broken up into I think 3 theaters now, or 4 theaters. But anyhow, Gino, we have got a lot to talk about, and I want to say hi to everybody on Facebook.com/Jesse Torrero. I forgot to get us going over there on that one. Yeah. You see, I'm telling you, man. It's your fault because it can't possibly be mine. I mean, I'm good at blaming the other guy. You know that. I didn't start. You started them all, but I didn't.
I did my job.
I know you always do your job. Yes, I'm the one that that kind of. It's on 4234. Okay, here, yeah, figure it out. So, Gino, man, you have been doing a lot of cool stuff, and we don't often get a chance to talk theater. Oh. And it's really kind of refreshing because in Los Angeles, there's not a lot of theater, but the theater that's here is good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
That's for sure.
Unfortunately, unlike New York or the musical comedy theater of Chicago, there's not a lot of big, giant houses that performers can perform at like there is in those cities.
Right.
There's a lot of what we used to call equity waiver back way back.
Oh, there's plenty of equity waiver in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Oh, in L.A., absolutely. Now, do they still call it equity waiver, or is it under 99 seaters?
I think both. Still,
yeah. Now you got your chops in that, didn't you?
Well, no, I got my chops in what's called equity theater. Basically, I didn't really work that much in 99-seat houses.
So you went to the big house.
I started in 500-seat houses.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean the show that I just did was in a 300-seat house.
Really?
At the Ensemble Theater Company of Santa Barbara.
That's nice up there.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
I worked at KIST Radio up there.
Oh, nice.
I lived at that big, tall, white building on State Street.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
that studio used to be up there.
Oh, wow.
And I could see my my boat in the harbor that I used to, sleep on.
Oh, wow.
Well, it wasn't my boat, but I told everybody it was. It was just a boat I found vacant, and I just kind of said, that's my boat.
Wow.
No, I didn't do that.
See, you got me going, man. You fooled me.
But I know Santa Barbara's a lovely place.
It's gorgeous, and it's what I really liked about it was the theater patrons were so grateful. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was 9 actors. 3 of us have been on Broadway. I've done 15, 20 equity shows. I did a show at the John Anson Ford Theater.
Get out of here!
Yeah, directed by Tony Plana. I did Romeo and Juliet there for the mayor. 1,200 children.
Right.
I mean, it's like we're all pros.
And did you get it? Were you young enough to play the lead then, Romeo?
No, I played his best friend. I played Mercutio.
Mercutio, yeah.
Mercutio.
Oh, that's the best part. Actually.
It is actually the best.
That's
part.
the best part because Romeo, everybody knows it, but the other part is where he gets to think and do all the maneuvering and
right.
all. Yeah,
right. It was a ball, and Tony Plana is a really wonderful leader and director, and we had an amazing time. And
how is that place to work in terms of being on the boards?
John Anson Ford Theater?
Yeah.
It's humongous. I mean, it's a Broadway-sized house. It's 1,200 seats.
Yeah.
I mean, it's humongous. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like a big amphitheater. The acoustics are amazing. Yeah.
So if I went up there and farted, man, they would hear it way up on top, and it would sound like... It would sound like that, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, Lord. Well, make sure I have lots of spaghetti and no beans before you hire me.
That's right.
Okay. Flatulence is my gift. Thank you very much. No, honestly. Am I saying these things, Lee? Or
oh no, you're bringing me back to my childhood. My uncle used to torture us with flatulence. Yeah.
Oh, did he in the car?
No, in the house.
Lord,
he'd sit on us.
Oh, that's bad.
He was terrible.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
And he'd let it go, huh?
Yeah.
He knew it too.
Yeah.
That's fun. But family is important, and to you, family is really important because it was your folks that nurtured this idea of creativity in you and pushed you along to become bigger and bigger and do more exciting and creative things, wasn't it?
Yeah, my dad was he was a graduate student and he was studying film, and so the best films according to him were the 70s. Mm-hmm. So fortunately in the 90s, 80s, 90s, even today we had revival houses. So we would go to see cinema on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. It would be like on a Sunday, and we'd see all these great Woody Allen films and even Casablanca and all that kind of stuff. And I saw this one movie called Taxi Driver.
Al Pacino?
No, Robert De Niro.
I mean, De Niro, that's right.
And I remember seeing that, and it blew my mind. Yeah. And it was very violent and all that kind of thing. But, I knew it was a movie, and I told my dad liked to ask, what do you think of the movie? And I told him, I said, that guy's an actor. People aren't dying in this movie, but that guy's an actor, right? My dad said, yeah. He says, he has an interesting job. I want to do that job.
Isn't that interesting?
And that was it, And the reason why I wanted to do that job was because I felt that De Niro, his emotional expressiveness was so rich, and it was something that I wasn't used to.
Yeah, the world wasn't used to him at the time either. That was, of course, after Godfather, right. And Pacino did Serpico after Godfather too. So they both kind of went that path, and they got a lot of work after that, after Godfather. But De Niro and Pacino both, they brought a quality that had not been seen in film ever before. I mean, there was Brando, and there was Olivier, and there was all these great Spencer Tracy and Bogey and all these great actors. But De Niro and Pacino had that individuality that was so unique to them. Now, of course, we take it for granted. Right. I mean, De Niro raises his eyebrow or smirks, and Pacino, does this. Right. We know that. Right. But that's kind of what film is about, those little things, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I didn't know anything really about acting or anything. I was really young. But what struck me was how emotionally rich and varied he was. Mm-hmm. And that was something that I was interested in. Right. And so they put me in the great school for children, Puerto Rican traveling children's training unit.
Really?
And I started working.
Now,
with
where
them.
was that in Puerto Rico, or was that in New York?
In Manhattan, New York.
In Manhattan.
Yeah, in the 40s. So the theater district.
You were really originally from New York?
From New York originally. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, no wonder you were bit by the bug. How could you not be?
And the really cool thing was also that I was very young, but I was always kind of getting in trouble.
No, you? Come on, that beautiful, happy-go-lucky face.
I was very mischievous, and I got into with a bunch of older boys, and I started sort of drifting into the sort of underworld. Burglary and stuff like that. And
a lot of guys did that, who kind of grew up in the streets of New York. Yeah, any big major metropolitan city.
It's pretty easy. And
I just sent it to you, Lee.
And my father got really, really worried.
Yeah.
And I was already involved in sports, and sports is only good during the daytime. So he wanted to find something to keep me occupied till I was exhausted, and so that was theater. Yeah. So theater was like 5-6 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so by the time you get back on the subway back home, it's 9 p.m. You can't get in trouble.
There's nothing to do but go home.
Right. And so that was just really smart. My father was a teacher, and my mother was also a teacher. Actually, they were just really smart at raising kids. They were really, really smart.
They had that innate quality of parenthood.
Yeah.
Did you inherit it? Do you have children?
I don't have kids. No. Not yet. I think there's still a little bit of time. We'll see. Right. I'm dating somebody now.
Right.
We'll fingers crossed. But.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to get you in any trouble here.
No.
You know, I mean, I can appreciate that. Children today, I think having kids today is a different kind of responsibility. My daughter's 28, my son is 23, and they were born in the 90s, or early 90s. But boy, the world has changed in their 20 plus years of life. Yeah. And I just don't know if I just, maybe every generation of parents says this about their timeline and their kids' timeline. I just find it to be very dangerous today to raise kids. It's just so much anger out there.
It's unfortunate. I mean, I hope this political situation that we're in right now sort of solves itself, and debate is wonderful, but let's not start getting into street action and that kind of stuff.
Well, we're seeing more and more of that. Yeah. Of course, we do a political show. I do have a political show that but we're not going to get too much of that today because there's so much to talk about with what you're doing. You are, though, politically inclined to things that are important to you. Like you have this video, this music video that talks about this terrible opiate problem that we're having here in America, heroin and opium and all the things that come from that, and even the legitimate legalized drugs that carry that chemical base. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the really scary thing is the legal opioids.
Yeah, in the medicine cabinet.
Yeah, in the medicine cabinet. Opioid means derived from opium,
right?
Or having that kind of, soporific effect. Soporific
from the poppy.
There you go, from the poppy.
Yeah.
And what's really scary is that as a shortcut to relieve pain, these were being given out like, M&Ms.
Yeah.
And people got hooked.
It doesn't take much to get hooked on painkillers.
Right.
Whether it's Vicodin or codeine or opium.
Right. I mean, I got my teeth pulled, my wisdom teeth pulled like maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
Right away, I was given Vicodin.
Right away, bang.
And I literally went like, shh, shh, shh. Don't do this.
Right.
And he was like kind of fighting me.
I've never taken painkillers.
Yeah. He was actually, that was the really weird thing. He was fighting me like, what are you doing?
Right.
And only when I told him I've been sober, I've been sober for, since 1999.
Yeah.
Did he, did he, did he, stop it? And then he says, okay, I want you to take ibuprofen. And then I told him I didn't take anything.
Right.
And he says, weren't you in pain? I said, of course I was in pain.
Suck it up, right?
But, yeah, it's just, so what?
That's what it's all about.
And anyway, so like...
no, I can appreciate that because it's easy to give in to those types of vices, especially painkillers when you're in severe pain, but it doesn't do your inside well. It toxifies everything.
No, it's a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to deal with something in your body, you want to go and solve what it is that's going on.
You want to know what's going on. Remember in football, because you played sports. Did you play ball?
I played football,
yeah. I did too. And remember, I don't know how old you are. You don't have to say, but I'm 58, so I get my timeline. But I remember coming up in the 80s, the late 70s and 80s. I was in college in the turn of that decade. And guys used to get shots, cortisone shots in their knees and their shoulders and their hands and all the time. I mean, before the game, at halftime, the doctor would just come in, boom, and no one thought about it. And those guys are basically
a mess now.
Right. I never took them. I just said, no, I don't want. I'd rather have my hand in ice at the end. At the end.
Yeah, I mean, we had a very strong. My dad was. Anti-drugs. He was kind of like a sort of 70s me generation type person,
right?
And he was like about health food and all that kind of stuff. So we didn't really get into that. But to get back to the opioid crisis,
did you have something happen to you in your life, or a good friend or buddy that kind of stimulated you and you said, "Man, I got to do something about this"?
Yes, when I was growing up, my first love died because she took, I think, tranquilizers, and not even overdosing, but maybe one or two, and she fell asleep with her face on the pillow.
She suffocated.
She suffocated.
Wow.
And I wept, and you know, ever since then it was like
because she was her body was so relaxed, because that's what a tranquilizer does.
Yeah.
Put you in a tranquil a position that she didn't, her unconscious mind didn't realize that you need to turn over. Because if she wasn't on, she would have turned over naturally.
And then, you know, the great, I think it was John Bonham,
the Led Zeppelin, the greatest drummer of all time, man. You know, I love John Bonham.
Face down in his own vomit.
Look at Jimi Hendrix died with his own vomit as well. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, that's always been in the back of my mind. And what happened was Soy Fabulous is a Latino rock and roll artist from Miami, and we were friends. And apparently she was in LA, and she just kind of called me up and like, hey, I'm having trouble with my producer, this and that. And she told me what's going on. I'm like, my goodness, you're the boss. You're the artist. You're paying him. He has no right to, you know, yell at you, whatever. So I gave her some suggestions, and I said, oh, by the way, you know, this is what I think I would do with your thing. Right on. And then she goes, oh, I like your suggestion the best. So she, you know, wound up replacing me with, you know, replacing them with me. Right. And
had you done any kind of record producing at that time?
No.
Or engineering?
Nothing.
Or
nothing. I knew that I could tell a story because I'm a theater director.
Right. You're a storyteller.
I'm a storyteller. Yeah. I'm an actor, and I'm a theater director. And so I said to her, well, I've never directed a music video, but this was my concept. This is my idea. And then what we did was I decided to make the video, the song, into the hallucination of a junkie on her deathbed.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it definitely has an impactful story to it.
Thank you. Yeah.
It really does.
And then just, you know, as an artist, I believe in research. I'm very big on research. I'm a big fan of Meryl Streep and, you know, Lawrence.
You set your characters up. You really jump into their life before the scene. And fill that whole void up of life for them before you get started.
Exactly. Like I just auditioned for, I'm not allowed to say it, a very, very big TV show, an 8-episode guest star kind of thing. Playing a...
Well, that's nothing new for you, man.
No.
I mean, you've done tons of TV.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's done everything. Everything. I mean, he started like I did on with Days of Our Lives and Young and Restless.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Young and Restless was New York, but Days of Our Lives was out here. They're both the same start places.
That's right.
For actors.
That's right.
But you've done all kinds of film, and we'll get into that in TV, but continue on with
I basically, you know, was looking at I mean, I had 3 days to prepare, and I'm looking at documentaries on hitmen. And
that's the kind of cool thing about the internet now, though, isn't it? Remember in yesteryear? Yeah, I mean, you had to like, I don't know anything about this. What do I do? Where do I go? Who do I talk to? Right? You know?
I mean, the internet we've only had for, I would say, 15 years.
A workable one? A real workable?
I think in the 90s,
you could just go like that?
It was just numbers or something.
Man, 96. Was when you know, you still had those 360 PC computers, right?
Right.
Or those, and they were blazingly fast.
Right.
But the internet was just not there. The military had the internet since the 50s.
No kidding.
Going back to actually after World War II, it was the way that they created communication in case we got zapped by Russia with the nuclear holocaust.
Wow.
They laid that down. That's why there's only six hubs in all the United States of America, and they're all very secret.
Wow!
Because the military laid that down.
Wow.
But look, the military has been watching the internet ever since it began, and all of us are on it. So don't you think it hasn't? And all this stuff we're hearing about Google and Facebook, man, that's all passé. They've been doing that for 50, 60 years, 70 years already.
Wow.
But nevertheless, it became workable in about the last 10 or 15 years.
Correct.
Really, where you could just go, bing, right.
Yeah. Well, when did YouTube come out? 2003 or 2006?
2004.
So, okay. So right about then did it become like a really... Anyway, so I believe in research. So while I was doing research for Fallen Angel, I was struck about the opioid crisis. And one statistic that really blew my mind was that in 2016, more people died from opioid abuse, fentanyl, heroin, and Vicodin, or all these other things.
Yeah, they're all a derivative of that.
Yeah, than in 16 years of combat soldiers fighting in the Vietnam War.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
You know something from CBS News.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the in World War II, morphine was a painkiller. Morphine, and it created a bunch of morphine addicts after the war.
There you go.
And the reason why heroin was created to get the morphine addicts off of being a morphine addict, and they became heroin addicts.
That's terrible.
And so that's why they created heroin. Then they realized that heroin was more corrosive than morphine and easier to make. And in that respect. And one last thing, because I want to get to this video. This is kind of a cool video. We can play it, right?
Oh, I love it. I love for you to play it.
All right, absolutely. $25. That's right. I'm telling you, he's going to smack me before this show is over with. I don't want to get smacked by a guy from New York because he knows how to take care of himself. I just know how to run real fast up the beach, right? But seriously, we went into Afghanistan, and when we went into Afghanistan, the Taliban, which became ISIS, the Taliban had burned all of the poppy fields in Afghanistan, and Afghanistan was the hub of poppy fields for the ancient antiquity Chinese opium market.
Right.
China used to trade with the country of Afghanistan going back 1,000 years when they weren't Afghanistan, okay? And because in that part of the world, that's what one of the major crops were for antiquity was the poppy for Afghanistan, the country today. And so the Taliban went and burned all those farms, burned all those valleys out because they were, Muslim and they didn't want any drugs and all the other things that they did that weren't so good. They burned all that stuff out, and so they destroyed their economy. One of the reasons why we went back in there, because the largest drug distributor in the world, legalized drug distributor and drug pusher, is the CIA.
Right.
They make the Mexican cartels and the Colombian cocaine trade of the 1980s look pale compared to the CIA.
Right.
And so they went into Afghanistan. The Army went into Afghanistan. We did our thing in Afghanistan. And, they replanted all of the poppy fields, and they got more poppy fields now in Afghanistan than they did when the Taliban went in there and burned them all out and destroyed them all. And guess who's guarding the Afghani poppy fields?
U.S. Army.
U.S. Army, baby.
That's right.
Under CIA Black Ops rules.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah, well, the problem would be solved if it wanted to be solved.
Of course it would be.
Yeah.
So let's play this video.
Yeah.
Now, talk about the lady singing again, real quick. Set it up.
The lady singing is Soy Fabulous. She's a Latina rock and roll en español artist from Miami.
Okay.
And she's up and coming. She's wonderful. Got a great voice.
Okay. So hit it anytime you're ready.
Hi, my name is Soy Fabulous. The music video you're about to watch contains strong images of drug abuse and drug addiction. Unfortunately, I have lost many friends through overdose. If you're in this situation, or if you know of someone, please, my prayer for you is to go get help. Love and respect, Soy Fabulous.
She was lost in the wind. The snow fell down from her skin. Innocence gone, and the darkness came in. The angels prayed to save her from sin. Flowers grow, and she's flourishing, and her seasons change, but she's evil within. She wants to go back. yourself. Lord, please help her. She needs saving. Fallen angel, God forsaken. Please don't drink from evil's strip her from the venom of tainted false illusions that keep her staying right in her wrongs. There's a guardian angel that guides her to the light, but she can't see 'cause she's too far gone. She's fighting with the forces of death. Fighting. There's no turning back from all of this. No turning back. She keeps hoping. She is only for pain and for death. Strip her from the venom of tainted false illusions that keep her staying right in her wrongs. There's a guardian angel that guides her to the light, but she can't see 'cause she's too far gone. She's fighting with the forces of death. She's fighting. There's no turning back from all of this. There's no turning back. She keeps hoping. She is only for pain and for death. She was lost, lost in the wind. Today is my rebirth. I will win this game of life.
All right, so man, that is super powerful. And just recap for me exactly who the players are. The young lady is spectacular, and the song is a story. It really is deep.
Yeah, the young lady, our fallen angel, is a fantastic actress, Emily James. She's a theater actress. She began her career at the South Coast Rep, a 400-seat theater. She's worked at the Geffen Playhouse.
Wow.
She brought me to Santa Barbara Ensemble Theater Company. It's another 300-seat theater. And she's just a really highly trained actor. And when the story originally was going to be more about the dancer, but when I saw the work that Emily did, I changed it in the editing room and made it about her.
Right.
You know, you want to edit towards your strongest person. And Soy Fabulous is a wonderful Latina rock and roll artist out of Miami. She's got a big
heck
heart.
of a voice.
Yeah, great voice. She wrote this song because her best friend is probably hooked on heroin.
Yeah.
And is hooked on all kinds of opioids, etc. And we're all praying for her. And you know, it's a very, very tragic
Heroin
thing.
is a tough drug to notice in people too, because when they start out on it, you can't tell,
Right.
and it has to get really to the bad part of heroin itself. But people live for years.
That's right.
Doing heroin, years
That's
and
right.
decades, because if they get their fix a couple times a day, then they're okay.
That's right. And you know,
So people think it's okay that they do that.
Yeah.
It's a twisted kind of way of looking at it.
Yeah, you know, and as a sober person, I've been sober 19 years, knock on wood. You know, it's not a cliche gateway drugs. This girl, apparently, according to Soy, started classically a joint, you know, a drink.
Right.
And before you know it, she's on heroin. And we think she's on heroin, but she won't talk about it.
Right.
Or she'll say, oh, I just snort it or smoke it or whatever. And I'm like, that's bad enough.
Right. Yeah.
But, you know, and she's just getting progressively worse. So that song was written by her. She's the fallen angel. I saw a picture of her and I almost started crying because such an innocent, pure person.
You can see it now. Yeah.
You know, and that's why we hired the little 2-year-old is Mia, is the daughter of Soy. And she kind of looks like Emily. A little bit, you know, and so that's why I structured that story. I conceived the story to be that way. And then in further research, I found that there's something called a deathbed hallucination. Your eyes flashing before your eyes is a real phenomenon. And it's not linear. It's just different images.
Really?
And so that to me was the sort of, you know, through line that I found the story, and then I tell the story, that particular datum, particular fact.
Nice, man. Nice. Real nice.
Yeah.
Now, is this out anywhere? Are you?
We have it on YouTube, and you know, I understand.
Doing well?
Yeah, you know, it's got about 21,000 views.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Especially, this is like a short film.
Yeah.
Because, you know, today the internet watcher and the people like to be entertained from videos and stuff, their attention span is like 33 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, boom, gone. But so to keep 21,000 people for 7 minutes plus, that's a short film.
Thank you. No, we have about 80 commentaries, about 100 likes, and you know, we have a handful of dislikes. And I tell Soy, oh, don't worry about that. That's just somebody who just can't handle beauty, can't handle truth. You just don't worry about those. You ignore those. You know.
You know something? There's no bad publicity. People are talking. And that's what you want to get. People talking, because then they'll come back, and they'll tell somebody, and that somebody might like it, because everybody's opinion and taste is different. Here's a couple of statistics that were at the end of the film and the music video that I'm going to bring up here, and you might want to come on. What are we doing to me here? Technology. There we go. I just have to remember my codes. Lee, how come I don't remember my codes?
There we go.
64,070 people died from drug overdoses in 2016, 3/4 from opioids, including prescription painkillers, heroin, and fentanyl. 64,000. That's more people that died, like you said, in the Vietnam War.
Correct. And can I just tell you what fentanyl is?
Yes.
Fentanyl is a man-made heroin substitute that is 50 times more powerful than heroin.
That's the one we're starting to hear about, aren't we?
Yeah. Why we would make a drug 50 times more powerful than heroin is beyond me.
To destroy the American youth and control them?
I think sounds pretty right to me.
You know?
Look,
I'm a Trumpster, and I'm an independent conservative, but I got to tell you something. I'm one of these hate the one world order, new world order, global elitists doing things. I just see the writing on the wall, and why? Because they want to. because somebody is creating it for control. Look at here in South Central Los Angeles. I was working at K-Day on the air here for almost 10 years, doing radio, hip hop in 83 to 91. And the Crips and the Bloods were always there. They go back to the 1970s, but they weren't doing the drugs, the coke and the crack. And in Harlem and Brooklyn, the CIA introduced all of that stuff into Harlem and Brooklyn and Queens because they wanted to destroy the families. And they did a darn good job, and they did it right here in Los Angeles, too.
I auditioned for a really great TV show called Snowfall. John Singleton.
Right.
And talks about that. Literally, there's a character who's a CIA officer. It was his idea to, and it's apparently a true story.
It is a true story.
It's extraordinary.
We used to see it down here when we at K-Day, because we happened to be at the time when all that stuff was going on and the drive-by shootings and all that stuff. But the underlying issue was they were making their money selling coke and crack. Crack, really, because coke was for the Beverly Hills crowd.
Right.
But crack was for everybody else, and it was easy to make, and most of it had hardly little coke in it anyway. It was all chemicals, and that's why they destroyed people so much. But it was CIA funded. Everybody knows that. Everybody here in Los Angeles. So, yeah, man, it's because they want to. Don't get me on my gravy train here. I start going that way.
No, that's good. You're thinking the film is affecting you. It's the best thing.
There's another thing that I wanted to read here, if I can get to it. Yeah, we talked about that. We talked about the Vietnam War. 58,000 people died.
Well, I just want to make clear on that statistic. In 1 year, 2016, more people died than in 16 years of combat deaths during the Vietnam War, which is known to be one of the bloodiest wars of all time.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that.
In World War II, a combat soldier would see combat maybe once a week.
Right.
On a tour in the Vietnam War, it was daily.
Oh, yeah.
Daily.
They didn't get away from it.
Yeah.
And they were over there for 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
For a year.
Yeah. And so that more people are dying today than in the Vietnam. It's just a mind
in 1 year.
In 1 year. Is a mind-blowing stat.
Something else here. The Holocaust statistic is also outnumbered. Now check this out. AIDS-related deaths in the worst year of the AIDS crisis, 50,628 people died in 1995. The peak year for homicides in the U.S. Now, we all know what's happening in Chicago right now. Lots of homicides for not just 1 year, but many years.
Yeah.
The peak year for homicides in the U.S., 24,703 people were murdered in 1991. Okay. Suicides, which is a terrible epidemic in this country with young people today. Suicides has been high on the agenda of the news and the media and people trying to help youth from killing themselves.
Right.
Suicides, which have all the suicide hotlines and all the psychologists and the doctors and the schools and the churches helping them.
Yeah.
Okay? Suicides, which have been rising in the U.S. for nearly 30 years, totaled 44,193 in 2015. Now, wait a second here. We've got 50,000 from AIDS. We have 24,000 from homicides. We have 44,000 from suicides. But yet, in 1 year, what's the number?
64,000. And don't forget 58,000 killed in 16 years in combat in the Vietnam War.
Wow.
In 2016, we had 64,000 deaths, opioid causes. Wow. Yeah, it's
What's
really,
it going to take, man, to solve this problem, in your opinion?
In my opinion, education. I want to get this to the president. I think he just earmarked $6 billion for opioid.
He's a big push on that now.
Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of Florida, she's also interested in the subject. I just basically want to get it out.
Let's see if we can help you politically in the state here, because I got a lot of connections in the state.
As many people as possible.
And with LA County, LA City, on that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
Because, I've been fighting human trafficking for a long time, so I've got a lot of those numbers I can call. And, hey, look, we got this going on. We have to join forces on this, because I didn't realize I knew it was an epidemic. I mean, because it's being talked about.
Yeah.
And, of course, the president's doing something about it. And it's high on the agenda agenda of health
Right.
and all of that today. But I didn't realize it outnumbered the Vietnam War. I've been down to the Vietnam War Memorial, and I can't even walk down into the V. I start crying before I get 3 steps down.
Right.
See someone touch their name of their loved ones.
Right.
It just kills me.
Right.
And this is 60,000 in 1 year.
Right.
My goodness.
Right. I think, our wish, Soy Fabulous and myself, our wish is that it becomes a clarion call. A clarion call is a call to action. Yeah. And that it inspires. And I would love to see Lady Gaga, some superstars get on the bandwagon. I would love to see remember Michael Jackson, We Are the World. I would like to see a We Are the World type situation.
It might just take something like that because people don't realize the epidemic that you just explained today. They don't realize.
No.
They don't realize it's that big.
I don't think so.
They just don't. They don't get it.
Yeah, a friend of mine was an ex-cocaine addict, and she described heroin as a really weird drug because it's private and secretive.
Well, that's what we talked about already. You don't know. A gal can live with that for 10 years.
Right.
And it really is, man.
Right. And what's happening today also. In the 60s and the 70s, my research told me that it was people in their 40s and 50s who were dying. Yeah. Now it's people in their early 20s.
Yeah, it's getting younger.
Which is
we have a disenfranchised youth today. Yeah. Poor parenting, breakup of the family home over the last 40 years, the destruction of whether or not you believe in America is right, wrong, or indifferent. But we had an ideology in this country and understanding, whether you believe in God or Muslim or Allah or whatever, Judeo-Christian understandings. So much has changed in our society from when I was raised in a different world. I understand it was a different world, but so much of that is gone, and we have kids being taught by the internet.
Right.
Kids being taught by pornography on their smartphone while they're in geometry class in 9th grade. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. That's what we got going on in violence and destruction. Lee and I were just talking about this before the show about music and what happened. 70s, 80s, 90s, music was so fun, and everybody just wanted to have fun with their girlfriend, their boyfriend. They broke up. They wanted to find new love. They wanted to go to the nightclub. They wanted to get in the van and go down to the beach. All these songs in country, rock, R&B, pop, disco, all this music was fun, and it was positive, and people looked happy. And what happened to the darkness of music today? It's so dark. Everything is so dark. We were just talking about that, and that affects the youth. Yeah, it's a difficult thing to solve. Then you have the predators out there who just want the money, honey. Yeah, and they don't care. No,
they don't
care.
And it's such it's a tragedy. And the thing that I my parents were educators, and I think the most important thing is to get information. Yeah. I didn't know this a year ago. At all. I just got information, and my dad always instilled in us, use the dictionary a lot. You don't understand a word.
The what?
Look it
What's
up.
that?
Use
dictionary.
And he
spell check.
Yeah. And he basically said, if you ever have a question, go to the library. And the library.
Library?
Yeah.
Wait.
The library is now the internet.
Is that where I can get some yogurts?
Yeah.
Yogurt berry? Yeah. I get. Is there a berry called lye? A lye berry? Lee, we got to go to the library. I want some fruit flavored lye berries.
Well, our new library is the internet.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, forget about opening a page and turning some paper. Paper?
What's that?
What's? Oh no, that's not paper around some cannabis. Thank you. All right. Yeah. No, you're right, man. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad we, at least so far today, we've been able to give you a little bit of a pedestal to talk about this, and that's something that you stressed to me. You wanted to talk about.
Very much,
guys.
so.
This is what I told you about this man. I said, and I meant that when I said it. Once I meet a lot of people. I talk to a lot of in all walks of life, regular folks and iconic people. And but once in a while, you come across folks that there's something uniquely special about them.
Thank you.
And you don't know what it is. It's just some energy that comes off. And Well, in your picture on IMDb, you've got that with the patch and everything. It looks so freaking cool.
Thank you.
That is so cool. Whoever made that decision to put the patch on you and take an IMDb picture and post it up as your profile picture, that's the smartest thing that could ever been done, man. No wonder you got 71 credits or 73 credits, for God's sake.
I'm actually I'm either at 92 or 102 of union jobs that I've gotten career-wide.
Oh, man.
I'm going to celebrate that because I think it's an important milestone.
It's darn right it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a young guy. What are you, only 26?
No, 41.
Oh, okay.
41.
I was just going to ask for $25 since you're again, you know.
What was I going to say? I did start young because there's no...
No, you were a kid.
Yeah, I was really, really young. So
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, you've got a great career going on, and it's happening.
I'm half done, and I got more work to do.
Another couple hundred there, huh?
That's right.
Why not? It blows your mind when you go to IMDb and you see cats with 400 credits.
Yeah.
You go, oh, Lord, how did they ever accomplish that?
Yeah. But, you know, the thing is, I'm a big fan of, oh, my goodness, he's great friends with De Niro. The pimp in
Joe Pesci.
The other one, the pimp in Harvey Keitel.
Oh, I love Harvey Keitel.
Harvey Keitel is to me one of my heroes.
He's a
because
great actor.
He's the one who gave us Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
And two things I learned from him was one is that you should support independent film, which is why I did this.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I work a lot with studio and network projects. I mean, you need to eat.
Well, that's where you
right?
get paid.
You get paid a lot.
Yeah, your passion is independent.
Right. And so, like, my passion is independent because of Harvey Keitel.
Right.
And the other thing he said was, you don't want 100 credits. You want 1 credit with 100 episodes.
That's how you make some bank. And then what you do is you look me up, Jesse T, and since I've been a real estate broker for 40 years and a loan broker, then you come to me and we go house hunting, baby. We go house hunting.
That's right.
That's what we do. Yeah, you think I'm joking, right?
Yeah.
You know, every client that comes into here, every friend turns into a client. Here's my business card. Thank you. Take it.
I love it. I'm taking it right now.
Everyone. Of course, I have this business card too for my other line, and I got this business card here too for my other business. I'm just like the Las Vegas of business cards.
I love it. I love it, man. I love it, man. You got to make money as any way you can.
Let's play this. Let's play this trailer. This 2-minute trailer. Set this up now. This is from Poor Boy, right?
Poor Boy. Yeah. Okay.
What's this about?
Poor Boy is an awesome movie. Another independent film which I chose to support, and so did Michael Shannon.
Right.
Michael Shannon's been nominated for the Oscar twice. He's an incredible actor.
You have worked with, I'm sorry, I'm just blurting crap, but that's my show. You know, I just blurt stuff out.
Please.
You've worked with dozens of award-winning actors and actresses. I mean, Tony Awards, Emmy Awards, Genius Awards.
Oscars.
You had something on there you worked with a guy who's like a genius.
That's right.
And two of them, and Oscars and
Nobel laureate.
A Nobel laureate.
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
You know, can I wash your car?
I've been really, really lucky, you know.
Wow.
And one thing that I learned about that is, you know, you really have to be unique to yourself. I mean, uniqueness is being true to yourself.
Right.
There was a point where I was kind of afraid and I was trying to be cookie cutter. What does Hollywood want? What does Hollywood? My income dropped in half.
Wow.
And then I sort of got my integrity back, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be me.
Right.
You know? And then that's when I started really doing some interesting things.
Well, you know, I've been being me my whole life, and I'm still living on a cardboard box on Wilshire Boulevard.
Yeah, but you're a happy man.
Yeah, and I'm selling those oranges, baby, and those watermelons, baby. That's right. I got like 400 guys out there working for me.
And you know, this is totally my opinion. There are, you know, I'm not going to say who, there are artists in Hollywood who are kind of like literal. You know, like if the script says a blonde, they get a blonde, right?
Right.
And, you know, you're not going to probably work with them. And then there's what I call the A-list, who are just interested in really interesting artists.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that tend to hire me.
Nice.
And that's why
your niche.
Yeah, that's why you've seen me on my resume.
Tons of stuff.
8 Oscar winners, and
I know.
25 Tony winners, 25 Emmy winners, etc. Because those type of people who win awards are I call them the real A-list.
Right.
because they're true artists, and that's what I try
They
to
do
be.
it for the art, and not for the money.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then they're rich as sin because
the money comes, it'll follow your art.
Exactly.
It'll follow your passion.
Exactly.
Not passion is the wrong word. It'll follow your choice if your choice is right for you.
Exactly.
Let's play Poor Boy.
Yeah.
The world is strange. And there's pain all around. Most things you'll lose. It's just time working.
That's Rob Reggie. I'm tired of waiting, brother.
Are you good?
I'm good.
Brothers, cowboys, kings.
This is the long play, brother. Get that cash, we buy out the bank, we tow it back to the water, and we sail to Cali.
You think about God. I just wonder whether it's good or not to bring someone else into the world, into all this.
We do this, right?
We all sail to California. Sunshine.
Very, very cool, man. Poor Boy. I like that. The two brothers there. Those guys are cool, man.
Thank you.
Those guys are really cool. Now, you had your participation in this.
I had a really interesting supporting role as a Native American chief.
Yeah.
And I got to work with the two leads, and it was really, really quite
And there
fun.
was an Academy Award nominee right there.
Yes, that's right.
A couple times.
Yeah, and I was telling the story about Michael Shannon after the...
This guy plays a rodeo cowboy dude.
Yeah.
Right.
Nominated for the Oscar twice. One of my favorite actors tackled me at the after party and said, "You're a really, really good actor." And I'm like, "You're Michael Shannon, one of the best actors in the world." Well,
Right.
that means a lot to me.
Hey, you want to go hang out?
Yeah. No, we were already hanging out.
Yeah, that's right. I'll hang out some more.
Yeah. No, he's as gifted as he is. He's kind. He's really, really kind man.
Yeah, you get to a certain point in any career, I think, when you succeed at it. A kindness does take over.
Yeah.
But there's that old cliche, be good to the people going up because you're going to be coming down.
Yeah.
At some point, and you're going to go back up. So
Jack
always
Lemmon
be good,
advice.
up and down.
Yeah.
Up and don't mess with people going up because you're going to come down and they're going to remember you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Folks, the Poor Boy is out on video on demand.
Okay.
It's really a great.
Where can we see it? Any place?
Anywhere. iTunes, wherever you get video on demand.
It's a great film, huh?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's
I
terrific.
like it. Yeah.
It's terrific.
Yeah. Now, so tell me some current stuff that's happening for you in the TV and film TV stuff.
Another thing that's coming out in 2019, I don't know exactly when, is I did an episode with Rosario Dawson and Michael Cera.
Oh, wow.
Created by Jordan Peele, who won the Oscar last year, my ninth Oscar collaborator.
Yeah.
And it's sci-fi.
Can I go hang out with you?
Sure.
I'll be like your little puppy dog on the back pocket,
Sure.
like your girl. Sure, no problem. I even wear a blonde wig.
Awesome. I'm partial to blondes.
Oh, gee,
Perfect.
thanks. Of course, I had to pick the right one, didn't I?
It comes out in 2019, and it's very, very funny, and it's a satire. It's a satire. It's making fun of today's society by putting it in the future.
That's really easy to do.
Yeah.
To make fun of today's society.
Yeah.
So when does that come out?
That comes out in 2019. I don't know exactly when.
What else you got coming?
I just wrapped the play, the
Right.
Ensemble Theater Company, which was also a satire.
Yeah.
Excuse me, that was a farce,
Yeah.
making fun of society.
Yeah.
And then I just audition for something, 8-episode guest star. I can't say more than that.
You're working.
Yeah, and hopefully that happens. And I read very well. We'll see. You know? And then I just wrapped the theater. 6 weeks of intense work, and to be honest, I slept for 8 hours for the first time in a long time. And this week I'm probably just going to just chill out a little bit. And I'm glad to meet you. Yeah, well, absolutely, man. I mean, you got to come back. I mean, and talk some more. I'd love to.
It's only an hour.
That's right.
I mean, with you and me, man, we could go like 9 hours.
I'd love to. I'm sure we could.
Yeah, I don't think I could get Lee to help me out for 9 hours though, or I have to pay him a lot of money. One or the other. Or give him a big kiss on his lips, baby.
Don't forget the blonde wig.
That's right. I know he likes redheads.
Okay, well, redhead wig.
All right, man. A fun time with, I'm going to get this name right. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to attempt it. I'm going to attempt this name.
Drum roll, please.
GINO. That's easy. Montesinos.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes.
Jesse
boom,
got
boom,
perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, I feel like there's my championship belt. GINO Montesinos, everybody.
Perfect.
GINO Montesinos. Yeah. Oh, I got it down right at the end of the show.
Awesome.
Be the first or the last, because nobody remembers anything in between.
Exactly.
I never remembered the stomach. I remembered the last, and I remembered the first. Thank you very much. Oh God, I'm getting in trouble. I've just blown the whole thing right now. Come back.
My pleasure.
Okay,
you got it, brother.
Anytime you got something, it's an open door here. I want to know about it. I want to push this out. I want to help you. Let's get together and talk about your cause.
Thank you.
And I think there's some things we can do. Hey, look at tomorrow, Armin Ansante.
Oh,
the great actor Armin Ansante,
awesome
right
actor.
here on the
Awesome.
Jesse T Show. And it's
His
good to have
God
you guys
is fantastic.
along. Oh, great
His
actor,
God is
guys.
fantastic.
5 o'clock right here. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya. Woo!